It is Thursday, June 3rd. What Kahnawà Joe Delaron Juts. This is the COVID-19 Task Force update. It is our 214th episode. We have plenty on the plate today. We have, of course, vaccinations going on, and tomorrow, phase 2 gets underway. Before we start, we'd just like to take a moment to commemorate the 215 children who were found in a mass grave in Kamloops, BC last week. It's something that has affected each and every one of us in this community and actually right across the country. So we'd like just to take a very brief moment to commemorate them. And thank you very much. At this time, we'd like to bring up from the Ohiarí Memorial Hospital Center, the Executive Director, Lisa Westaway. Lisa.
Thanks, Joe. COVID seems relatively unimportant in the face of the mass grave that was found last week. But unfortunately, we still need to talk to you about COVID, and we do want to bring you just some positive updates. The first is just some stats regarding the testing site, which is still open. We tested 4 people today, so it's not being frequented as much. However, people with symptoms are still coming to the testing site, and we urge you to continue. So we'll just pull up the chart. So I don't see a chart, so I'll just give you the stats anyways. So what we see is 134 positive results, but 0 active cases right now. So we have, since May 19th, haven't had any new positive COVID cases, and therefore 26 in the 3rd wave, and that number is staying quite stable. We are still doing screenings, so we've done 2,370 screenings, and that's up by 164. And if you remember, that's because we screen our frontline workers who are not vaccinated 3 times a week. However, there's a new addition to that process this week. We are now also doing spit tests as a screening process, not for COVID testing, but as a screening. And therefore, I think over 12 people chose to be screened using the spit test this week. So that's moving forward quite nicely, and it's much less invasive. So we're happy to have been able to introduce that. So since we're talking about COVID cases, we wanted to talk about vaccination as well, and the importance of being vaccinated so that we can continue with our reopening plan in a safe way, and we can try to avoid as much as possible a 4th wave, which is already being discussed in the media for some time in September, between September and November. And again, that is of course when schools resume, and so we want to make sure that vaccinations take place to protect as much as possible and be able to return to a new normal as much as possible as well. So I'm going to talk now about vaccinations, just again to give you some stats about where we're at. So 16 plus, so for our community members who are over 16, we finally hit the 75% vaccination rate. So we were at 74.4, 74.6, and we finally hit the 75%, so we're really happy about that. But we continue to see people coming in for first doses, and if you are interested, then you can go to the vaccination site anytime. So we're open today, tomorrow, Saturday, and then next week starting on Tuesday. You can make an appointment. Those appointment slots are available to you if you do want to come in. We won't turn anyone away for first doses. We have Pfizer. Some people do want to know. Pfizer this week, Moderna starting next week for 3 weeks straight. 16 and 17-year-olds, 102 people have been vaccinated up until now. If any 16 and 17-year-olds want their first dose, you would have to go this week, because remember, anybody under 18 can only get the Pfizer vaccine. So we only have Pfizer for the next 3 days, today, tomorrow, and Saturday. So 18 plus, we've vaccinated 3,820 people. This is great. And second doses, we're starting second doses next week, as you know, and for the next 3 weeks. We have up till now vaccinated 897 community members with their second dose. So we're at 17.5%. Very important that that number increase to the 75% that we are at for our first dose. So I want to make sure that it's clear that it's not just because you've had your first dose that you are fully protected against COVID from severe illness or death. It really is a 2-dose vaccine, and therefore we really urge you to come in for your second dose in the weeks to come. Now, I just want to talk about the scheduling of those second doses. We put a release out yesterday because there's been some confusion, both through human error and through system error. So you may have received several messages telling you that your appointment's been canceled with one message saying that you have a new appointment. So that new appointment is what your appointment time is. And again, second doses are starting the week of the 7th, and they're going on till the week of the 14th and the week of the 21st. So we're asking you to check your emails, check your text messages, and try as much as possible, in fact, to come in to the bingo hall for your second dose appointment. Again, we're going to keep giving you those numbers and percentages because it's really important that we increase to 75% as we move forward to ensure the best protection for our community and the best scenario moving forward for safety and avoiding of a fourth wave. 12 to 15-year-olds are being vaccinated this week with Pfizer. Again, we've been asking people to book appointments. I don't think that we've hit the 50% mark yet of our 12 to 15-year-olds. I'm still waiting on those numbers. We have about 400 12 to 15-year-olds in the community, maybe a little bit less. So starting tomorrow and Saturday, you can come in with your 12 to 15-year-old without an appointment. So we're opening it up to walk-ins, and we really urge you to come in to get that vaccine. Again, this is going to make a huge difference to return to school in September. And if we can hit the 12 to 15, from 12 to 17-year-olds at 75% vaccination rate, then what's been announced by Quebec and what will happen here as well in Kahnawà is that school will reopen without any type of measures, masking or distance measures. So we're really hoping to increase vaccination rates to that point. 16 and 17-year-olds are only at about 69%. So we know that we have to increase that another 5%. So we really encourage you to get vaccinated. And again, if you need to speak to a nurse or you have any questions, then please feel free to call extension 2213 at the KMHC hospital. So that's it for me. Thank you.
I thank you very much, Lisa. And one little bit of good news that she didn't mention was that the 12 to 15-year-old vaccination started today, and that they were booked completely today. So it was a sellout, which is really excellent. All right, coming up next is Lloyd Phillips, our Commissioner of Public Safety here in Kahnawà, and he has all the information on tomorrow's Phase 2.
Thank you very much, Joe. Thank you, Lisa, for that information update on the vaccination process. I just want to underscore the importance of the second dose of the vaccine. We're at 17% of the community has been fully vaccinated, and it's extremely important that we have the 75% of us who have been vaccinated to get that second dose. Again, that is what will give us the freedoms we all been looking for. And again, moving into the future, back to a normal state as we can get, and a main big part of that certainly is the getting vaccinated. So I know it's been a long road for all of us, and as we announced 2 weeks ago, we started Phase 1 of the reopening of the of the community. Although things have already started prior to it, but for the most part, we are in a holding pattern for many months. But two weeks ago, we started the process of opening up restaurants, for limited capacity. Some more and more people were allowed to gather safely outdoors. Recreation and such were opened up. So we are very satisfied with the rollout of phase one. As expected, there was a few glitches here and there, but those were rectified and clarified as we move forward. And as we're expecting moving forward into phase two, that there will be obviously a few glitches and stuff that we'll have to clarify as time goes on. 1,000 moving parts, so we're trying to keep a track on as much as we possibly can and be as clear and as transparent as we can. So after phase one finished rolling out, we are in a very good spot within our community. As we mentioned before, 0 new cases in the past couple of weeks. And that's only, again, through the cooperation and collaboration of the entire community, the business community as well. So we are officially going to be moving into phase two of the reopening effective tomorrow. What that means, and I'm not going to go through every detail because it is available at Kahnawake911.com, the full document. But obviously, it means the reduction of measures, which is the direction that we want to continue moving. So outdoor, public and private gatherings, we could increase, provided spaces available, to 25 persons. So that's been, a lot of people have been asking us about having gatherings with family or friends, outside. So outdoor, public or private gatherings is at the maximum of 25 people. Again, safety measures, distance, mask, hygiene where appropriate are always important to know. But another change is indoor gatherings. Prior to this, we had allowed one additional household in your home, to visit and such. So as of tomorrow, that is increased to 2 households or a maximum of 8 persons. So like I mentioned last week, so for example, if you do have a sibling or 2 who have been visiting at different times, so now they could get together at the same time in the same household to again allow for more visitation and such, and more meaningful contact with loved ones. Again, we always want to keep emphasizing the fact that we to do this safely and as possible, which again leads us to be able to continue taking those steps. Restaurants, their capacity will be able to increase to 50% capacity based on distancing measures as well. Gyms and fitness centers will be able to increase the capacity to 12 people. Against the capacity on cigar lounges would also allow for terraces to operate. So that's again another step there. And the restrictions for the locals only will be lifted effective tomorrow. So that's again in response to many of the needs of the business community, but as well as we feel confident as well within the Quebec population that they are above 60% vaccination with the first dose. So that does provide additional level of protection. So we feel confident taking that step moving forward. So again, phase 2, we are certainly glad to be able to formally announce it. I know we put the plan up there last week. We announced it last week, and as you'll see on top, it does say tentative dates, and we are looking to move in 2-week increments. But again, assessing as we move forward. So, phase 3 is tentatively looking at a period of in 2 weeks from now. But if we need to revisit that and push pause for a little while, that's something that we'll have to consider at the time. But if we stay on track, the way things have been going, the way that we had the cooperation from the community first and foremost, and again with the business establishments and such, we will be able to continue down that path to phase 3 and eventually phase 4. So again, all positive news. and it's only through the cooperation that we'll continue moving forward. Also, down that path, we have recently changed, to orange level of alert, which is still significant. We can't downplay the fact that the virus is still amongst us, but on this path we are on, the trajectory that we are on, if we stay on that path, we could look in the coming weeks to further downgrade, to a yellow level alert, which would also include, further reduction in measures. So we're looking forward to that trend, that trajectory, and we certainly are optimistic. And again, cooperation, collaboration of the entire community is what will get us there, and we'll get back to that new normal in which we all been looking for. So with that, I'll be back next week to provide additional updates and such. So take care, and onigawahi.
And go Lloyd. And again, lots of good news here. And remember, one thing that should mention, that with all of the extra people allowed in the house, you now are allowed up to 8. Just a little reminder, keep the fans off, keep the air conditioning off. You don't want the air to be, moving around too much. It's just one of those little things that'll help prevent the spread. So with that, take care, everyone. Have yourselves a really nice weekend, and we shall see you next time. On behalf of everyone here, Nyao Koa Dano, Onigiwahi.